Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning on in to our Valley News Now desk this morning. Check out that hazy, foggy view we've got over on our, I think this is our Red River Valley Fairground camera there. Yes, it is. So, yes, we're looking at a lot of fog, a lot of issues that we've been seeing with that, with visibility-wise. But one more time, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Alex Larson. So we're going to kick things off talking about just that, what is happening outside. I'm going to share my screen with you in just 1 second here as I get all logged in and ready to go. All right. I'm going to share my screen with you here, and we are going to see what exactly is going on outside, what our first alert storm team is saying we're going to be seeing today. So 22 degrees right now in Fargo is what we're seeing with that mist. We saw that pretty clear on our sky cam there. We're not going to get too much higher. I mean, 27 around that 2 o'clock hour. Partly cloudy, mostly cloudy. I know that sun will be welcomed for many of us here who have been sitting in those dreary, foggy conditions for days now. Okay, so we're going to see a temperature trend. Like I was saying, those warm temperatures, they're going to stick around. We're going to dip over on the 10th. I'm going to cover that in just a second. But this is great to see that we are above normal. If you're anything like me and you're not a huge fan of winter, this is a beautiful sight. I mean, can't really get much better than 27 high today for early January. Our 11-day planner here, that fog, that's what we're going to want to be aware of. And I'll look at these road conditions in just 1 second. But tomorrow we're looking at a high of 32, low of 19. Thursday, high of 30, low of 24. Friday, high of 29, low of 16. The weekend, we're going to be a little breezy, but not too bad temperature-wise by any means. And check that out. That continues well into next week of our 11-day planner. 29 next Friday, looking pretty good. To see what we're seeing out on the roads, you can see that fog, kind of a headache for a lot of the state of Minnesota here. In our area, we're going to be seeing that over in Detroit Lakes. We've got a completely covered road on Highway 10. Looks like we can't get a picture, but visibility is half a mile or less. On 87 from Frazee all the way over to Monaga, we're seeing light slush on the roadway. The completely covered road is ice on the roadway, by the way. Heading up north, though, this is where we're definitely seeing more of an issue than further down south, in our viewing area at least. So lots of partially covered roads around Thief River Falls, Red Lake Falls, Crookston, East Grand Forks, up north, Hallock. Seeing a lot of partially covered roads, ice, it's slippery. So even though there's not a ton of compacted snow on the roads, as you can see here, it's still an issue with that ice being slippery, especially since we are below freezing, and that wet those wet road conditions can definitely take a toll on you. And you may not even be seeing it. You may not even know that it's so icy out until you start swerving, and then you've got a big problem, huh? We're going to head on over to North Dakota now, where you can see Fargo south. We're seeing some wet roads, and that continues on towards Wahpeton as well. As we head north of Fargo, we've got some frosty roads, and then as we get north of Hillsborough towards Grand Forks, some partially covered icy roads. Then looks like it clears up to the Canadian border on I-29 at least, until you head out west, where there's some partially covered snowy roads near Cavalier, Langdon frosty roads, Rolla snowy, Can-Do snowy. Let's zoom on in here. It looks like Edinburgh, Lankin, Crystal, you're seeing some partially covered icy roads. But, I mean, a little bit outside of Grand Forks going towards Devil's Lake, we're seeing a little bit of icy road conditions, but looks like that clears up on Highway 2. Heading on down to look at I-94, yes, quickly here. Wet roads as we get out of Fargo towards Castleton. And then it looks like it clears up outside of that. Over down towards Ashley, Napoleon, Linton area. That's where we're going to see some frosty covered roads though as well. And check that out, Ellendale, we're seeing in Dickey County some wet roads there as well. So lots going on today, a lot to be aware of. So make sure you are downloading that VNL weather app to stay in the loop, in the know on everything that is happening outside our front doors. Our first alert storm team works very hard to keep you updated with everything that's going on. And it's a great tool to have, especially as we continue on through these winter months. I want to move on to our news portion of this segment. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz no longer seeking a third term as fraud scandals across the state scramble re-election plans. This was a big story yesterday, and the announcement came after the Democratic governor previously launched his campaign for re-election this fall. The 61-year-old cited ongoing investigations into fraud allegations for the misuse of billions of state dollars, including child care programming, as reasons for stepping out of the race. Walz also used yesterday's press conference to slam President Donald Trump and other Republicans for using the issue to gain political traction, adding that Minnesota has and is taking steps to investigate this fraud. Before his announcement, Walz says he reflected with his family and team over the holidays, at which point he decided he was not able to give his all during the re-election campaign. He said every minute he spends defending his own political interests would be a minute he can't spend defending the people of Minnesota. Walz, a former teacher and Army National Guard veteran, was first elected governor in 2018. He was also the 2024 Democratic vice presidential nominee. Now looking ahead to what's sure to be an even more closely watched election for his seat in November, Walz says he's confident the state will stay blue, as it has been since 2011 when Republican Governor Tim Pawlenty left office. He also said he's going to find ways to contribute to the state even after he's left office, but he says there will be a time to worry about all that later. He didn't even take questions yesterday, but he says he does plan to talk about any questions people may have today. Nearly a dozen Republican candidates have announced their plans to run for the top job, as well as several third-party candidates. And early potential DFL candidates for Minnesota governor include State Senator Amy Klobuchar. The four-term Democrat is reportedly seriously considering throwing her hat in the ring as Walz drops out of the race. While Klobuchar is already receiving encouragement from supporters, she has yet to make any official announcements. And right here in Fargo, a delayed decision to eliminate several Fargo volunteer commissions last night. The city commission is rescheduling a vote that could dissolve the Human Rights, Arts and Culture, and Native American commissions. So the Fargo City Commission amended Monday's proposal to dissolve the groups, giving all three 2 months to come up with new plans or face disbandment. The proposal was added to the agenda after the Human Rights Commission made headlines late last month, when the chair called local leaders cowards during a press conference.
I was surprised to see the way that this was introduced. One of the things that really I found troubling was, with respect, Mayor, the fact that the commissioners who are part of these three boards were not talked to ahead of time about the release of this proposal.
City Commissioners Dave Pepcorn and Michelle Turnberg voting against the delay, instead wanting to move ahead with the disbandment of the boards.
The City Commission has laid out a clear pattern of inefficiency among some of our various unelected commissions. This is about accountability, efficiency, and respect for our taxpayer dollars.
Mayor Tim Mahoney, Deputy Mayor Kolpak, and Commissioners John Strand voting in favor of the amendment. City Commission plans to revisit that issue within the next 2 months. And Fargo Deputy Mayor, speaking of which, Denise Kolpak, announcing yesterday she's going to run for mayor. She's collecting signatures to officially qualify for the June 2026 ballot. So Kolpak has been a part of the Fargo City Commission for the last 3 years. She currently serves under Mayor Tim Mahoney, whose term ends next year. She announced her run yesterday and aims to focus on public safety, professionalism, and transparency. Kolpak even using the word dysfunctional to describe recent city meetings, and vows she's looking for a change to regain public trust if elected.
The trust needs to be restored in the work that the city's doing in that space. And you know, let's remember this is a special community with a lot to give. We're an example in North Dakota. Let's live up to it.
Kolpak's already been endorsed by the Fargo Firefighter Labor Union, but still needs those 300 signatures to be verified. Over in Bismarck, airport operations are back to normal after a bomb squad swept the area and evacuated passengers and staff from the building. Around 4:30 yesterday, the Bismarck Police Department's bomb squad responding to the airport after getting a phone call about a potential active situation. The caller claimed explosive devices were located inside the building, and at that point, airport operations immediately initiated evacuation procedures to ensure the safety of passengers as well as employees. But after a comprehensive sweep of the airport by the bomb squad, police say no explosive devices were located. The airport then reopened and started normal operations. That was about 6:45 last night. And a South Fargo coffee shop known for serving warm drinks by a diverse staff of employees with disabilities is now planning to close after just about a year in business. Valley News team Sydney Zatz is learning how much longer the shop will serve a cup of joe to customers and how Charlie's Place has changed lives.
We kind of knew what was coming and stuff, so we just thought it was time to kind of pull the Band-Aid and maybe focus on something different.
Charlie's Place coffee shop is spending the new year preparing to close its doors. The store employs about a dozen workers with cognitive disabilities. Owner Val Olson cites financial difficulties for the closure.
Once I was able to kind of look at all the expenses and our income, I was watching how gradually it was taking a lot more to keep this open. Then we're probably hitting only about 2/3 of what we need every day to keep it running, just to make ends meet.
They call it coffee with a purpose.
You want me to steam it for you?
Yeah.
Charlie's is run by the nonprofit Art and Soul. It provides a space for creative growth for those with disabilities.
You're okay? Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Sounds good.
Our individuals are employable. Employ them. They've done everything. They've done the cooking. They've done the baking. They do the ordering. They do the drinks. They can do it. You just got to give them a chance.
Ice, maybe hot.
For worker Mike Miller, Charlie's has become a safe space.
I made 2 friends and I made more friends after that. It's just helped me keep me going every single day because it makes me put a little smile upon my face and it makes me, feel like this is where I'm supposed to work at.
He found friendships and the ability to use his voice.
What made me want to work here is to finally open up, finally get out of my shell, finally get out there, use that voice.
Charlie's doors may close, but its mission will live on.
Do you have a message to the community?
I do, actually. Well, first of all, employ our individuals. If you have a chance to employ somebody that has a different need, and sometimes you need a little patience with that, but it's well worth it. They will teach your other employees about life.
And Olson says the coffee shop is likely going to close next week. She says the nonprofit Art and Soul is not going anywhere and it's going to continue its mission. Well, that's about all I got for you here on this Tuesday morning here on our Valley News Now desk. Remember, we got updates going on throughout the day here on the Valley News Now desk, and we'll send you push notifications on your phone if you download the VNL News app to be able to know when we're firing this up. You'll see it on Facebook, on YouTube, over on the live stream, over on our website as well. You can get your hands on this, where we're able to bring you the latest and greatest of what we've got going on right here in the Red River Valley and beyond. Again, that's all I got for you here on this Tuesday morning. I will see you